Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, we're going to learn how to determine leap years using the IsDate function in Microsoft Access. Okay, this is one that comes along every couple of years. Lots of people always ask me, how do you determine leap years in Access? In fact, this came up in yesterday's video because I show you how to do prorated rent, and sometimes landlords will calculate prorated rent based on the number of total days in the year instead of just the days that month because it evens it out. That way February isn't super bad and January is only 31 days and so on. And so you have to know, are there 365 days this year or 366? It could depend on the leap year. And there's lots of other reasons why you might want to know if a particular February has 29 days in it. Fortunately, there is a built-in function called IsDate that we can use to determine if a particular date is a valid date or not. So if someone types something in and you want to know if it's a date, you can ask IsDate. How do we use this to determine leap years? Well, we can make a fake date, which would be February 29th of whatever particular year, and then ask IsDate, is that a valid date? And if it says no, then 2/29/1987 doesn't exist, so it's not a valid date. And IsDate can tell you if that date is valid. So it's a tool for determining how leap years work. So let's see how this works in the database. This is my Tech Help free template. You can download a free copy of this off my website if you want to. A couple of prerequisites for you first. If you don't know how to use calculated fields and queries, go watch this. You should also know how to use the year, month, and day functions. We're going to use the year function to pull the year value out of any given date. So if I tell it January 1st, 1980, it'll give me the 1980 part. And finally, we're going to use a little string concatenation. That's putting two strings together to use this little trick with IsDate. So if you don't know anything about those three topics, go watch those videos first. You'll find links to them down below in the description under the video window. Go watch those, and then come on back. Okay, in my customer table, I've got a field with a whole bunch of dates in it. Where is that? Let's see, right here, my CustomerSince field. So we'll use that as the date we're trying to determine if that year is a leap year. And of course, I use the ISO date standard, which is year, month, day. It's universally accepted. I got students all over the world. There's one more video for you to go watch if you're interested in that. This way, we're all on the same page when it comes to a date format. All right, so I want to see if that date, for example, happens to fall on a leap year. So let's make a query, create, query design, and I'll bring in my customer table, and I'll close these little guys down. We don't need those. All right, let's find that CustomerSince field, bring that down here. Now, I don't want to have to keep referring to CustomerSince, so I'm going to alias that guy. I'm going to say D:. In other words, I'm going to call CustomerSince D. This is a shorthand. It's easier to type in all my things and all my other calculations here. Just refer to it as D. And you can plug any other value that you want in there. Now, I want to figure out what the year of that date value is. So in the next field over here, Shift F2, zoom in. I'm going to call another variable Y, and that's going to be the year of D. All right, so take D, give me its year, and bam, there you go. So that guy there falls in 1989. All right, there's a number representing that year. Easy enough so far, right? That's the easy stuff. Okay, next up, we're going to use string concatenation to build a date that's going to be this year, followed by February 29th. Okay, now again, I'm using the ISO date standard, so I'm going to call it D2, where R2 is, I don't know. There's D2. Little nerdy Star Wars joke for you. Okay, so this is going to be Y, that'll be 1990 or whatever, ampersand, so string concatenation, quote, -02-29. Okay, hit all right, hit OK, and run it, and there's your fake date, right? So there, for example, 1990, right? 1990, June 12th, we got 1990, February 29th of every year in this column, okay? And yes, just for the curious people, this will also work if you want to use your regional date format and you don't want to stick to the ISO dates. For example, if I said it was, let's say 2/29/and Y, all right, this will also work. Like I'm in the US. So if you want to use your local standard, you can do that too. But I'm ISO, so I'm going to stick with this one. Okay? All right, let's get rid of that. All right, so we've got a whole column full of fake dates here. Now the trick is to see using IsDate if that's a valid date. Also, one more thing to notice. Notice how these guys line up on the left side of the column. These guys line up on the right. Numeric values, which include dates, right? Currency, numbers, date values. Those are all numeric types versus text strings all line up on the left side. That's one giveaway right there. You could tell that's a text value. Okay? So the next step is to say, hey, is that a valid date? So we're going to call it IsLeapYear. Let me zoom in again. IsLeapYear, colon. We're going to use the IsDate function and put D2 in there. All right. So is that guy there next to it that we just built, is that a valid date? And now we'll run it. And there's a bunch of zeros and minus ones. Remember, in Access, -1 is true, or yes. 0 is false. If you want to format that to show yes or no, you can right-click, go to Properties, and then in Format, you can put in here yes/no, or true/false, or on/off, whatever you want. Lots of different formats are valid. Now when I run it, I get yeses and nos. And there you go. 2000 was a leap year. Remember that rule? It's different on those thousands years, because if it's divisible by 4, it is a leap year, unless it's divisible by 100, in which case it's not a leap year, unless it's also divisible by 400, and then it is a leap year again. So, yeah, okay. Thank you for all the crazy date stuff, our fantastic calendar. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, is there an easier way to write all this than have that all in multiple steps like that? Yeah, of course. The multiple steps is what I show you when I'm teaching you how to do something, so you can see how I got to where I got to. All right, instead of just giving you one big function and saying, there it is. Right, this way you see we got to get the year, we got to make a date out of it, we got to check if that date's valid. But if you want to boil this down into one statement, you certainly can. It may make it harder for other people to read or for you in the future to figure out what you were doing. I've got a lot of stuff that I did years ago, and I look at it, I'm like, what? And sometimes if you do it in multiple steps like that, it's easier to figure out later. But this will just boil down to IsLeapYear, colon, IsDate, and then whichever date format you want. I'm going to go year, D, and -02, -29, just like that. Hit OK, run it, and there you go. Format it as yes, no if you want to. And there's your final function. Can you use this in VB code? Certainly you can. Here, I wrote a little function for it right there. Very similar, same thing. This one's in the old US format. It's 17 months old, so I did this before I switched to ISO. But it works either way. Okay? Public function is leap year. You send it a year, like you'll send it 1980, and it will return a true-false value if that date is a valid date, if it's a leap year. Gold members, this is in the code vault. Right? You can go find it in the code vault. Another reason why it's beneficial to join. There's all kinds of cool little functions like this floating around in here. If you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, I cover logical functions like IsDate, IsNull, IsNumeric, IsError, all kinds of the is functions in Access Expert 25. This is actually part 1 of my comprehensive guide to access functions. Over several videos, I tear all the different functions apart. We go through the logical functions, we go through string functions, we go through the math functions, we go through the type conversion functions, date time functions. We go through all the functions over the course of a couple hours, and I explain them all in detail. And that's one of the major reasons why you want to take my full course, because I cover things in the order you should learn them, not just randomly like I do with these fast tips. But that is your fast tip for today. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.